What's up, everybody? My name's Chance. Today we're going to be diving into another budget-friendly, free-to-play deck for you guys and girls. I was going somewhere with that, and it just kind of fizzled. Anyways, it's Orzhov Enchantment. Woo! And the best thing about this deck is there are 0 mythics. 0. So you don't have to worry about that at all, and only 3 rares, and it's all Lurrus. So I'm sure some of you folks out there already have Lurrus, and then you're just screaming at the top of your lungs, hell yeah, I can play one of the decks, right? Anyways, this deck is super fantastic, super fun, and it gives you a ton of play options, which in general is the best kind of decks to play in Magic, right? You want decks that you have different options, so you're not just doing the same thing, turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into infinity, right? Anyway, starting us out in this deck, we have 3 copies of Alseid of Life's Bounty. It helps with your enchantment count, which helps with your all that glitter. It's a 1/1 lifelinker, and you can protect your Lurrus or your other creatures with it. We do have 1 copy of Selfless Savior, because Selfless is actually better value than the Alseid as far as Lurrus comes, as it's free to sacrifice it, right? But it still only costs 1 mana to bring it back. So it's really good in that manner, and I do recommend having it in here as a one-off sort of creature. Sentinel's Eyes, really good enchantment. Again, builds up your all that glitters. You can escape it, which is why we only have 1 copy of it in the deck. And you know, generally the +1/+1 is nice. The vigilance is nice. All that stuff, just really good. And for 1 mana up against the rogue decks, you're going to be able to escape it. All this fantastic. Archfiend's Vessel, card you really want to be replaying with your Lurrus. And actually, I've been thinking about dropping a copy of Deadweight and going up a copy of Archfiends. I think that would help the deck play a little bit more aggro and consistently in that aggro sort of variance. Anyways, you can return it, get the 5/5 back. It's a 1/1 lifelinker. We've seen it a million times and we all love it. Bloodchief's Thirst, 1 mana for some removal that you can also kick and then remove anything. It can target creatures, it can target planeswalkers. This is the card that everyone should have 4 copies of, hands down, no doubt. Deadweight. I know we're only playing 2 in the deck, but it's such a good removal, okay? So don't actually go craft 4 copies of this card and spend all your uncommons just for the sake of having them. Only craft the 2 for the deck if you don't have it. Anyways, Deadweight, excellent removal, works well with Lurrus, and alongside the Hateful Eidolon allows us to draw cards. This is one of the most busted cards, I won't say busted, but one of the best cards you can get as a value, budgety, free-to-play player, right? 1 mana, lifelink, 1/2, super fun card already off the bat. It's an enchantment creature, which means it adds to the all that glitters count, and whenever an enchanted creature dies, draw a card for each aura you controlled that was attached to it. So essentially, if you're using your Deadweight on your opponent's creatures, you're going to draw a card every time you cast that Deadweight onto your opponent's creatures and they die. Equally so, if you have a Mire Triton, a Mire's Grasp, and a Deadweight on your opponent's creature, you're going to draw 2 cards. So really good. Not to mention the fact if you have auras on your own creatures and they manage to die, your opponent removes them, whatever, you're going to draw cards again. So has lifelink, draws you a ton of cards. It's an enchantment which adds to the all that glitters, and it can be replayed with Lurrus. Mogis' Favor, again, you'll notice that we have a ton of escape cards. That's because rogues are really big right now in the meta. Mill is a really big thing. +2, -1. This goes really awesome with Hateful, as it allows you to deal 3 damage instead of 1. Same thing with Lurrus, boosted up to a 5 damage instead of 3, and in some niche situations it is removal. All that glitters is your bread and butter as far as stacking up huge amounts of damage, as we all know and love. Glass Casket for some easy, cheap removal, and not just removal, but exile at that, and that is very important if you're up against other Lurrus decks or other decks that have Call the Death Dweller, right? Heartless Act, some easy, cheap removal, instant speed. Obviously, it's worse against counter decks, but generally, if they're playing counters, you'll try to use this before the counters come onto the creatures, and you'll be all good. Mire Triton helps fill up your graveyard for the Lurrus, not to mention the fact that it also has Death Touch, mills you 2 cards. Oh, that's helping the Lurrus, right? Gains you 2 life. That's the other part. So really good 2 mana card, and it's an uncommon, which is really good for everyone else. Mire's Grasp. -3/-3, so it's just sort of like the big boy version of Deadweight, right? Sometimes you need a little more punch, a little more packed punch, if you will. Anyways, Bastion of Remembrance, another really good way if you're having a little bit of issues just sort of going to face on your opponent and taking them out. This is a nice way to whittle them down, or if it's come to that mid game and they sort of found a way to control you, you can't really swing in as much anymore. Well, now you can just sort of play your creatures down, use your Mogis' Favor to sacrifice your own creatures, use your own Deadweights against your own creatures, which will use, draw you cards if you have a Hateful, deal damage because of Bastion, So it's a nice little loop to finish out the game if you get in a little bit of a bind, right? Call the Death Dweller helps you bring back all your beautiful creatures down here, as well as your Lurrus. Minions Return. This is actually a really, really nice, spicy one-off if you're playing in Best of 1, because it allows you to take things from your opponent, such as their Feasting Troll King, or their Questing Beast, or their Yorion, right? All this stuff that's really big and really impactful on the game. Sometimes destroying it is not enough, because they'll bring it right back. Sometimes exiling it, while good enough, means that come the very next turn, they're just going to play another copy down, right? So Minions Return helps you in those games where you can take their stuff. Now if they replay it, or replay another one, I guess I should say, you have one to defend, right? It's essentially exiled as far as they're concerned, because they can't replay it from the graveyard. And, well, it's dealing damage for you now. So really good. It is instant speed, which is probably the main reason that it's able to be played, right? If this was sorcery speed, regular enchantment, I don't think so, but since it has flash on it, it's really good in those situations where your opponent's just sort of not paying attention and got their pants down. Last but not least, we have the Lurrus, which we talked about in the beginning, and this is going to allow you to replay everything down here and essentially makes the deck whole. The nice thing about this deck is we're playing Lurrus in the main board, not in the sideboard, so we can play things such as Bastion, and if we play down a Lurrus, we don't have to worry too much about it getting removed, as we have more coming down the line, right? Anyways, the lands are what they are. If you have, if you have some pathways, if you got Fabled Passage, play it. But as I am trying to showcase a free-to-play deck and a budgety deck, we use all free-to-play lands. So that's what you're seeing here. Now, you will notice in some of the games, we're going to have issues with our lands, and this is why a lot of the times, if you're watching content creators for a budget player, they'll recommend one of the things you go spend your wild cards on is the land, so you can play multicolored decks and not have issues like what you'll see in one of these games, right? Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoy. If you do, please be sure to leave a like down below, comment in the comment section. As always, subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more content, and hit that bell icon so YouTube knows, hey, they want to see more content from this person specifically. Anyways, I appreciate the support. We're coming up on 10,000 subscribers. That's a crazy number to me. I never thought I'd get past, well, 1,000 really, but here we are nonetheless. So we got some exciting stuff coming along. If you're not already subscribe, help us get to that big number. And we got some little secret goodies coming along with that 10K congratulatory scissor cutting action, right? Anyways, without further ado, let's hop right to some magic. Axel gonna be our next foe, and this looks like a pretty solid hand, I'd say. We got our Lurrus, we got some stuff to remove our opponent's creatures, buff our own creatures if need be. Hopefully we can find some more creatures, and we'll be good to go. Good to go. Oh no. We're finding these lands again. These lands, they haunt us. You know, out of all the battle arenas, I gotta say this is probably one of my favorite ones. It's got a lot of small little detail bits to it, right? The chains and the rubble and, the little ground markings or whatever. Okay, we need to go here. Mire Triton, Bloodchiefs, right? Anyways, so it's got a lot of attention to detail, but it's not a very intensive map, I don't feel like. Yes, all these little sprites right here moving around and the water flowing, but as compared to some other ones, it's pretty low on the intensive scale, but it's also still a really nice arena, right? I don't really want to play our Lurrus down into nothing, but at the same time, we don't have anything else to play. So that's exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to make it a big Lurrus too. Big boy 5/1 Lurrus. I'm not a firm believer in not playing anything, Like if you got cards in your hand, whether you love how it's going to turn out or not, I still think you got to make a push for it. Because if you don't, you're just wasting a turn, sort of. Skyclave taking our Lurrus. That's okay. We're going to be able to deadweight the Skyclave and get the 3/3 back. Hopefully we can hit another land. That's exactly... I was just about to say I wanted a 50% land draw this game, and Looky here. It's granting it to us. I was looking for a Hateful there, so when we go to use the dead weight, we could have drawn a card, you know, on top of using dead weight. But that's okay. We'll use Mogis' Favor here. Make this a big boy. Always, if you're in a Lurrus deck like this, always make sure you're exiling your non-permanent cards first, right? Your lands, your instants, your sorceries. Okay. So Mogis' Favor, let's slap it down here. This will make this thing into a 5/2. What a body. What a body. That is actually a, what, a fourth of their life? Yeah. Sorry, I know that's very simple math, but you leave school for a few years, kids, and this is what happens. You deteriorate. It's a Scoot Swarm deck. Hey. We all love the Scoot Swarm. You know, I gotta say, for them to be a landfall deck, it looks like they're struggling a little bit harder with lands than we are. Because I am hitting them. I tell you, I am hitting those lands. Alright, this game's about to get out of hand really quick. Really, really quick. Ooh, snap. We did it. One of the only cards we actually needed, although I do really need to deadweight and get rid of those Scoot Swarms before they copy them too much. I think this is actually what we have to do. Since they only have 2 Scoots out right now, we just have to pray they don't have another land here. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers fucking crossed. It's a Vivian. Oh, my goodness. Whew. Alright. So we're good is what you're telling me? I mean, sure, we're about to take 6 points of damage, but if I can take out that Scoot Swarm, like, we got some leverage. Mire's Grasp too? Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. I feel dirty. I feel so dirty. We got enough to where we can replay the Mire's Grasp if we want to, so it's not too big of a deal us doing this. Bam! What a turn. What a freaking turn. Oh, yes. And this is after us getting flooded, might I add. Oh, beautiful. B-E-A-U-T-full. The game wants to keep giving it to me. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no, ladies and gents. Kind of wish I hadn't put that Mogis on my Lurrus, but we needed to do that in order to take out the Vivian, so... You know, again, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I think on this next turn, we'll go ahead and replay the Archfiend, so that way we have the 5/5 in the sky. They're going to create a 2/2 here. Yeah, I was about to say, they're not going to increase the damage. They need more creatures rather than bigger creatures. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Alright, give me something good. Mogis' Favor. Still really good. Now if they remove our Hateful, we'll at least get some card draw out of it, right? And it means if they tap out, we're dealing a ton. So they're going to create another 2/2 here. They might swing it with 1. They no, okay. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, game, that I ever doubted you. Do you see what I mean now, though? Like, sometimes you have those bad games and you're just like, oh, what are you doing to me, game? What are you doing? But then it turns around and it gives you one of these where you're like, okay, I mean, sure. I can see now where you were coming from. You know, you gotta walk up the hill sometimes in order to ride the wagon down. That's right. I said ride the wagon, not ride the dragon. You bunch of potheads. Alright, dead weight. And we're good. We're so good. Oh. I never won't feel dirty for this, by the way. So they're looking for... Oh, that's good for him. That's really good for him. But that's fine. We still have 5 points of damage coming at him. The worst part about that is actually... Well, the worst part about that is the fact that we drew an Alseid on the very next turn. But outside of that, the worst part about that is the fact that I got exiled, so we don't get the card draw, right? So let's see. Do they hit a land? Yasharn. Fuck. Not only do they hit a land, they hit a creature as well. That's a rough one. We were so close. We were doing so good. So money. So freaking money for so long. Bastion, go. Now we just need to deal enough before they get to the heals. What are they going to bring back? Skyclave, you think? Definitely swinging in here. No, I can't do that because Mogis is 5. Fuck. Alright. Well, let's see what they choose to get. If I was them, I'd probably grab the Skyclave, exile my Hateful. But you never know. They could get back the Vivian. Vivian's not a bad pick either, right? Because you can look at the top of your deck. So if they don't have a lot... Okay. I was going to say, if they don't have a lot in hand, I would probably... Oh, yeah. That's not a bad pick either, actually. Take the Bastion. That takes out my ulterior... Oh, and they have a Glass Casket. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, this sucks. Oh man, it certainly sucks. We can't block that. Absolutely cannot. Call's really good. Do we have a Lurrus? No. No, it's fine. We still get the Archfiends back, right? They don't have anything to block in the skies, do they? So if I do this... That is lethal come next turn, isn't it? I think so. I think so. We don't want to play the other Mogis, by the way. I know a lot of people will be like, yeah, Chance, go ahead and slap it down in case they gain life. 1, you can play that Mogis on your next turn, so don't get jumpity. 2, you spend all your mana. You can't use Alseid to protect your big 7/4, right? So don't go making mistakes. All they hit was a Yasharn. That's GG. Oh, so happy we were able to bring this one back. Holy shiza. I didn't think we were going to, but we did it in the end. Ladies and gents, that's only 8, and then we crack back for the 7. Alrighty. Beautiful. Not even a GG? Come on, Axe. That was a fun one. It was a long one. I'm going to keep this. This seems alright. We got the Hateful. We can put a Sentinel's Eyes on the Hateful. And I'm always a big fan of that. So I think I am going to play the tap land down first, actually. Nope. I lied. I lied to you. So opponent's playing maybe Esper? Esper. I'm really good at this, like, calling what the opponent's playing game. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and go for the Sentinel's Eyes on Hateful. I thought about going for the Lurrus, the Life's Bounty there. But this way, if they do remove our Hateful, we'll get a card draw out of it in the very least. Also, we're dealing a little bit extra damage, gaining a little bit extra life. We will try to go ahead and get our Life's Bounty down here before they get a chance to really remove it. And then just some good old tap land, right? So we can protect our Hateful now. Doesn't make much sense why they would do that, given they know that I have the Alseid there. Right? But sure. Sure. Omen. So do we think this is a Dance of the Manse deck? The only thing that's kind of throwing me off is that Brazen, right? But outside of that, I mean, it feels very dancey. Feels like they're trying to ask me to a ball. We need some more actual playables. I don't know why we're hitting all of our lands here. About to start charging. That wall is actually horrible for us. We sacrifice the Hateful. It allows us to draw. And if we don't hit anything too good, we can call the Death Dweller, right? And actually, well, no, because that would require us to, right? Let's go ahead and do this. And yeah, mana efficiency. Now they'll sack. Oh, okay. I expected them to leave that, given that would have gained them 2 life, and we sort of seem like a more aggro-ish deck, right? But whatever. Elspeth's Nightmare, probably going to take out our middle Eidolon here. Yep. Let's see. Sack you. Oh, what a beautiful life. Alright, at least we can do this turn, right? So we are getting in a little bit of damage. Cool beans. We have the Alseid, which we can proc to defend the Hateful. The one on the left, of course. They're going to take our Bloodchief's Thirst. That's fine. I suppose we could have used our Bloodchiefs there to remove our own Hateful after swinging in, and then replayed the Sentinel's Eyes onto our middle Hateful. I know it sounds a little confusing, but it would have given us card draw for the Bloodchiefs, and we would have had, well, we would have had 1 less damage come next turn. But we take out Alseid here because if our left Hateful dies, we get to draw 2. Man, what is this land draw? Oh my goodness, why would you do that? I feel like they definitely should have taken out the left or the right Hateful first so we don't draw 2 here. Oh my god. Top 17 cards, we've drawn 9 lands. I'm bewildered. To say the very least, I'm bewildered. Okay, we got this. Surely we got this. Doom Foretold. They've got to be getting close to a dance, right? Alright. Do this so we can draw some card, and we'll get rid of one of their Doom Foretolds here. Where were all these cards earlier? Alright. Kiora best to see. Oh no. That's a scary one for us. They have 5 mana this turn. Next turn, that's coming down. Murderous. We were so close. They're so very close. Okay. So that's both Doom Foretold's dealt with for the time being. Then a Mire Triton. This will at least gain us some life. And am I going all in on the Mire Triton? Sure. Sure. Fuck. Yeah, I gotta at least play one more down. This way we can actually defend against the Knights and the Murderous and all that. Oh, that's so terrible. So terrible. I think this is a GG. I think we can go ahead and call it. We hit over 50% land draw in our top 17. It's kind of a rough one. Anyways, old Bassie. Old Bassie. How you doing, old Bassie? Probably go with the Scoured Barons first, and then follow up with the Alseid and all that. But yeah, that last game was a little brutal. We didn't see any swamps, any scours all game. Whew. Hurt my feelings a little bit. But now we're up against the Yorion lad, and I'm fairly confident that we'll be able to dominate him with our sheer good looks alone, right? I mean, look at Sarkon, that beautiful man there, as compared to this pile of robes. We don't even know what they look like. They're being so mysterious, mischievous. Well, I gotta say, I love any player that is willing to play a flash spell speed at sorcery speed, right? You're my kinds of friends, because then I can rest easy in my heart and soul, seeing white, blue, and knowing there's no counter magic. There is 0 counter magic coming my way, at least for the time being. I would like to see some more white mana so I can play more into, you know, the Alseids and all that glitters, but beggars can't be choosers, and I'll be very careful about asking for additional lands, because y'all know how this game goes. It's like a, well, I've made this reference, it's like a genie or an annoying little cousin. It's like playing a game on you, right? You ask for something, they give you exactly what you asked for, so be careful. Now, I would love to slap an all that glitters down. I think the best line of play we have is going for the Bastion off the bat. Unless, of course, they get something down that we can Bloodchiefs, and then that'll probably Bloodchiefs. They're just gonna move Yorion over. What is everyone's crave with, like, companions today? Don't get me wrong, I love me a good Lurrus, Yorion, Garuda action myself. But there comes a point when you gotta say, is there a better play? And actually, for the Yorion decks, there may not have been a better play, but for that Lurrus deck, there was definitely better plays. I just feel so bad that we couldn't have any swamps to capitalize. Skyclave, to take out my Alseid? Of all the things in the world to destroy, you're destroying that. Well, I can't say I blame you. We actually can't Bloodchief's Thirst that, right? Right. You know what, we got multiple Lurruses in the deck, so we are going to go ahead and play our Lurrus. I know, Chance, how dare you? You just insulted that other lad on playing Lurrus, and now here you go. There's a little bit of a difference in the fact that we have 3 in our deck, not just 1. So you know, that kind of helps. And we didn't have to pay 6 mana to get it down. We paid 3 mana to get it down. So here's the thing. If anyone has ever played, if you're new to Magic, if you've ever played, you know, a Civilization game or a SimCity game or any of those sort of resource management games, Magic is very similar to those in the fact that you can't just go spending all of your early resources on the best technology and then all your people starve, right? You know, in Civilization games, you can't just, you know, build settlers constantly and then not have your empire grow. Right, you gotta think about each resource being, you know, like a one token of gold, so to speak. Right, you don't want to spend all your gold on something that's not gonna bring you in more gold, so to speak. Although that gets a little complicated, because if you equate lands to gold, then you're doing a little bit of a weird conversion. Anyways, Bloodchiefs kicking it, taking out the Skyclave. We can't call the Death Dweller because they exiled it. But we can do all this stuff, and we'll still get in 1 point of damage, which is, you know, it's not nothing. So that means it's something. Glass Casket, taking our other house. This is probably my biggest problem with these Yorion decks nowadays, is they just exile all your shit. And you're like, come on, leave me alone, loser. I'm just kidding, old Bassie. I would never call you a loser. You're a sweetheart, and we all know it. Moment of truth, Bassie. What are you gonna do? Pass it back to me. Okay. Alrighty then. Well, we'll try to swing in with the 3/3. I feel like they got something up their sleeve, you know? You don't hover your stuff this much. Oh, what are you doing? Clicking there, you silly little hand. If I had a nickel for every time my clicking ruined a game. I'd have at least 3 nickels, you know? It's happened a few times. Alright, old Bassie. They're taking it. They are taking it. It's probably my biggest complaint with people that have instant speed spells. They always take so damn long. So damn long. Alright, so Skyclave is going to take our Bastion. Maybe the 3/3? Yeah, okay. I was doubting myself there for a minute, but they know what's up. Now we need some way to take out that Yorion. Well, that is yeah, okay. Sure. Sure. Boop. Still don't have anything we can bring back, right? Right. Alright, just double checking. Just making sure. Boop. Down to 12. We do have all the glitters that we could play down, but I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather play it later, I think. Dream Trawler will fuck me. Alright, I'll take another Heartless Act, please. Bloodchiefs. Any sort of removal? No? Okay. Okay. Well, we'll give ourselves one more turn of card draw, but after that, it's hard for me to reasonably say that we can come back against the Dream Trawler. Hard. I'm fine, dude. Finally get to see you live here. I only see you on YouTube. Yeah, well, my Twitch schedule is a little bit here, there, and everywhere. I try to do it mostly in the mornings, and I try to do it every morning. But a lot of stuff comes up, you know. That's probably my biggest complaint about myself as far as being a content creator is I need a set schedule for streaming, but I don't have a set schedule in my life, so anyways. That makes sense. A little more card draw. Untap their Dream Trawler. They should have played Elspeth before they played Yorion. Played Elspeth, create tokens, play Yorion, rebalance Elspeth. Just in case y'all are going to play the Yorion deck. Now you know. Now you know it. Alright, so this will be our card draw here. Come on, what are you doing? Just end the freaking turn. Old Bassie, you must be getting old because you're forgetting to click on your Planeswalker. Hello? I just wanted one more card draw. Alright, GG. I think they may have stepped away from keyboard there. A little AFK action.